Saturday, October 15th. Cheers. Anyone recognize that record sticking out there? That's Gurdjieff. G.I. Gurdjieff. Some piano music. I think it's on EG Records. Well, I thought I'd come on here because I sure enough did go down and get a copy of this. Can, live in Cuxhaven, 1976. Part of the live music series that they're putting out. If I remember correctly, these are all from tapes from one person who endeavored to go to every Can show that they could over in England, I think, or in Europe. And they're releasing them all. Unlike the first two in this series, this is only a single album, and it's not the whole concert. And so online, there's all of this grousing and bitching and moaning about that fact. To me, it's just so typical of the markets and business practices that the people who put this stuff out are going to milk us for as much money as possible. And so they put out the first two deluxe. They got us hooked, and so when this comes out, I gotta have it. I'm glad I bought it. I understand they're waiting until next year to put out the first one that features Damo Suzuki on vocals, which is what a lot of people are really having a hard on for getting. I, for one, am glad for all of it. And really enjoy this and like this period of the band around Soon Over Babaluma. And that's what you hear, that you hear them improvising in snatches of themes like from I Want More or Dizzy, and stuff like that just kind of pop in and out, you know, the little things that Michael Caroli plays or Ermin Schmidt or even the bass lines. It's a nice color vinyl. I'm not complaining, but that's just the world we live in. People just, I don't know. It's pretty. Good pressings too. I quite enjoyed this. Already played it twice because I really like Can. like Magma. They're one of my favorites, along with Faust, Gong, Genesis, and stuff like that. So I bought that. Didn't like the price, you know. Inflation is ridiculous, and there's no excuse for it. We get all these reasons why there's inflation. It's all bullshit. Money goes in one direction. The people at the top could easily make adjustments so that it's not so unfair for the rest of us, and they would hardly feel it, but they'd never do that. It goes against their main way of thinking, which is profit. Profit in a finite world. Don't make no sense. I'm glad I hear other people in the media now saying these things. I was listening to the BBC last night on the radio, and that's what some of the discussion was. It's like, it's just so obvious that this is a one-way street headed toward the dead end, and we can't stop it because we can't get the attention of the people who are living high on the hog. You know, it's like they don't want to know. It's always been like this, though, hasn't it? So yeah, I went ahead and grabbed this as well. Both these albums are inflationary priced. You know, one album for, I'm not going to say it. It was like, this sucks, but I want the record. Brian Eno's new album, Foreverandevernomore. Is this worth it? Ooh, fuck yes. My estimation of Brian Eno's mindset was when he decided I'm going to make another vocal album, which his early vocal albums, when they first came out, his vocals were a pain, you know, because he can't really sing well, you know. And on the first couple albums, he's just belting it out because he's loving singing. Well, his approach to vocals has gotten better over the years. But what I'm saying is, when Eno announces I'm going to make a new vocal-based album, I think he understood that he needed to come through with something good. It couldn't just be some crap or him attempting to recreate the past for fans. I don't think he would do that anyway. This is very quiet, thoughtful, ambient to the max, atmospheric. I love it. I really like this. Yeah, this is very nice. And Eno has a way of working with sound and the texture of sound that is noteworthy. This album is very kind to my ears, and like I said, the word ambient, the way that it warms up the room by the sounds. This new album by Brian Eno is very, very tasty. Do I recommend it? Highly. I recommend this highly. Brian Eno. So last night I was supposed to go to an art opening, and I attempted to go. It was in Iowa. And I got within 6 blocks of the place it was happening at, and there was a train. It was a railroad crossing, and the kind where you have to wait for the train. And I waited between 6 and 10 minutes, and it was just going. So I turned around and went home. There was another show that people were really encouraging me to go to last night in Omaha, Gorilla Toss. I didn't go. I went home. I checked out Gorilla Toss. I probably would have really enjoyed the show. But I'll say for the record again, really I'm at the point where I'm not really interested in going out to see stuff. If I can play, if I can be a part of the event, that interests me. Just going to watch people play doesn't interest me like it used to. If I'm a part of it, and I'm just being honest, if I'm a part of it, that's different. That interests me. So Gorilla Toss, I saw several pictures on Facebook. Several people I know who I love all went to the show. They raved about it. I'm sure I would have too, but I went home. Because I could have gone from trying to go to the gallery down to the Bemis to wait for the show, and I said, no, I want to go home. I'm a homebody. So I went home and had a very nice listening session last night, and pulled out some old, good records to listen to. A good smoke session, okay? Let's be straight about it. It's not legal in Nebraska, but it needs to be. I love to smoke some good weed. So I played some oldies, but goodies besides those new records that I bought. Message from Books and Dreams, German band. This is great. This has been sampled. I forget the record that it's sampled on. But there's a very, very strong riff on here. Guitar riff. Heavy. And it's been sampled. This is not an original. Again, this is one of those where it's like if you've got an original, it's pricey. It's very good. Very good. On the heavy rock side, but with that kind of cosmic sort of backdrop. Here's an original, Guru Guru. Love this album, particularly side 2. They do this rock and roll medley, which I used to hate. I'd never play it. I would never play it. I listened to it last night, and for the most part, it was entertaining. But this is worth it for side 2. Der Elektrolurch and the Story of Life. That is some classic German space rock. And I will show that this is an original on the Brain Metronome label. Very collectible. I like the design. When they changed the design, I thought for sure that they based the head logo on Lou Reed's head. I can't. I've never heard if that's true or not, but it seems like it looks like Lou Reed to me. Another absolute classic stoner cosmic rock from Germany. Dom, Edge of Time. This is the bee's knees to me. This one just takes you out there where it's like you're in a boat or you yeah, it's like you're headed out and you get to a point where they just leave you and you just leave you out there. It's not scary, it's very intriguing. It's like, how did we get here? This is a cool spot to be in. This is not an original, once again, hard to find. This is really good though. One of my favorites. Again, along those lines, they kind of go in jags. This is another one of those German bands. Not an original because it's hard. They're hard to find, but My Solid Ground. Side one of this is fantastic, and B-side starts with another super strong, The Executioner. It's just what I'm looking for when they say krautrock, cosmic rock, space rock. Right here, The Executioner is like almost like a textbook. It's just so good. It's just almost perfect. Love this cover too. My Solid Ground. So, when I went to Homer's to get those two, I always check the used section because Mark Manor is good at buying collections. And I have some competition when it comes to the used section down at Homer's. There's some other folks who collect the stuff that I collected. I've been missing stuff, but I can't afford to buy it all. But this one, I was surprised that it was still there from when it was posted earlier in the week. And I said, oh, really? Wayne Shorter's Moto, Grosso, Feio. This one is a unique session where his instructions, he talks about it on the back, where he wanted to get this wild, out in nature sort of feeling with the other instruments. Those were part of his instructions. This is fantastic. With Chick Corea, John McLaughlin, Ron Carter, Dave Holland, good. You know, how can you go wrong with those players? But what's cool here is you hear them not doing, like for example, John McLaughlin. You hear him pushing himself to not play what he usually plays. He really steps up to Wayne Shorter's instructions. It's very good. I was really glad to get that. And I also got this. Michael Rother, who was in Noi, Lust. It's a very good album. I wish it had a cool cover. You know, these covers where it's like, to me it appears that the whole idea is, let me get the attention of the opposite sex. I'm going to get some chicks. Pardon my slang. I don't mean it denigrating. This just old talk. This is very upbeat and sunshiny and downright happy sounding to me. I love it. It really could have done with a neat cover, but the album is great. The album is great. So again, nice to hear from you folks. I'll shout out some more folks. Phil, make some good comments. Bruce, good comments. Folks, as I say, I'm just over here in my home sharing with you my love of music and sound and just thoughts on how things are going. And I'm just going to keep it real like that. Okay, supposed to be Zooming with my family in a few hours. That's come to be kind of a regular thing every weekend if possible. Touch base, see each other's faces, it helps. You all have a good weekend, okay? Take care, and let me know how you're doing.